of the one who signed the document. Kung baga, yung dokumentong yon, napasa kamay niya, inilabas niya lang. Hanggang doon lang siya eh.
Pero attorney, wala namang pananagutan si Binibining Maharlika doon sa pagpapalabas ng mga dokumento, classified documents po ito.
Eh, hindi naman siya nag-leak, nileak siya at binigay sa kanya. Tsaka teka muna, classified document. Pag sinabi mo classified document, totoo nga yan na nag-i-exist eh. Eh tinatanggi nila na walang document na gano'n eh. O anong magiging liability ng vlogger? Wala.
Tama.
Besides this, the former chief presidential legal counsel also called to have President Marcos Jr. summoned, as well as actress Maricel Soriano, who is alleged to be with an alias Bongit in the leaked PDEA pre-ops report. In an interview with Azimanay Thursday night, the former Philippine National Police chief shared that Soriano has accepted the invitation, and the actress has confirmed that she will attend the next hearing.
Most likely, Maricel Soriano. Ano ka na? Ikaw daw pinagpapla i-raid. Ikaw ba gumagamit ng droga? Siyempre, sagot niya. Aba, hindi po.
Alam na.
Hindi. Pag sinabi niya, may katotohanan ba? Ay, hindi ko alam yan. Tanungin niyo yung nag-ooperate. Ba't ako tinatanong niyo?
Meanwhile, Panelo said it was expected for the Marcos administration to destroy Morales after making comments against the president.
Ang mahalaga dyan, yung kung sino nakapirma doon, at yun na nga, yung si Morales, at kinikwento niya kung ano nangyari. Ngayon, sinisiraan siya ng kredibilidad ng mga nasa administrasyon. Natural lang yun. Sapagkat dapat ipagtanggol nila ang presidente. Ano yan? It's a natural course that they will have to take. Natural lang yan. Ang taong bayan ang mahatol dyan. Naniwala kayo. Kahit anong mangyari dyan, even at this time that we're talking, palagay ko, meron ng judgment ang taong bayan.
Currently, the public is calling for President Marcos Jr. to undergo a credible hair follicle drug test amid allegations that he is using illegal drugs. And because it seems these people's griefs and what they are calling for fail to be heard, Attorney Panelo has a warning to those in power.
Mga nanunungkulan, pakinggan yung may tinig ng tambayanan. Huwag na kayong maghintay na ang tinig na yan ay hindi na boses na lumalabas. Baka iba na ng bahagi ng katawan ang gagalaw.
For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this has been Sarah Santos, Azimanay News.
Scientists in Thailand found evidence of fossil fuel pollution in the soil of Antarctica using cutting-edge technology. Chatmongkong Pisamay Goson has a story.
Even the so-called last pristine continent on Earth was not exempt from pollution based on recent oil samples collected from Antarctica. Besides the history of marine pollution, experts uncovered contamination from Antarctica's soil. The samples were collected from 5 locations on the continent's King George Island and brought to a laboratory in the Thai city of Nakhon Ratchasima. A cutting-edge technology that can produce a perfect analytical result was used to analyze the samples. A team of Thai scientists exploring Antarctica under the 34 Chinese National Antarctic Research Expeditions (CHINARE) discovered that up to 44% of the sampling soil is made of organic compounds from fossil fuels. Soil samples taken from sites where people live showed higher levels of contamination. The discovery prompted calls for stricter measures to protect the world's most pristine environment. Antarctica is the world's 5th largest continent, which is home to a huge number of interesting wildlife. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres previously warned that fossil fuel pollution caused ice sheets in Antarctica to melt 3 times faster than in the 90s. Guterres warned that the problem of melting ice, particularly in the West Antarctica ice sheet, does not stay in Antarctica. The melting ice could push up sea levels by around 5 meters, which could turn into a global tragedy. The global community has banned any human activity in Antarctica except for research purposes to preserve its pristine nature. Reporting from Thailand, I'm Chatmongkol Pisamaikoson, your Global Citizens correspondent for SM9 News Channel.
The family of two Australian brothers who mysteriously vanished while on a surfing trip to Mexico are desperately seeking answers as Mexican authorities scramble to search for clues of their whereabouts. Trisha Molina will tell us more.
The heartbroken parents of missing brothers Jake and Callum Robinson have started their trip to the U.S. and Mexico in hopes of finding their two sons. They also thanked the Australian government and everyone who helped and supported them during this critical moment. The two brothers from Western Australia were on a surfing trip to Mexico's Baja California region near the U.S. border at the time of their disappearance. Police have made concerning discoveries since they disappeared, such as their burnt-out car, which matched official records, and their abandoned tents. They have been declared missing together with their American friend Jack Rode after they failed to arrive at an Airbnb since Saturday. Mexican authorities arrested and questioned 3 people, including one woman who was carrying one of the brothers' phones. There have been grave concerns for the whereabouts of the 3 tourists, especially for Callum, who has type 1 diabetes. Their parents will travel as close as possible to areas where they were last seen. A search for the missing brothers has expanded after a week of disappearance. Reporting, this has been Trisha Molina, SM9 News.
Up next, U.S. President Joe Biden's xenophobic remark on Japan earns a backlash, and the White House has downplayed the statement. And also in the news, China's Chang'e 6 mission sets out to the moon's far side. Newsline World will be back after the break. U.S. President Joe Biden's comment about calling allies Japan and India xenophobic countries earned criticisms from Japanese officials. Sara Santos for the report.
The White House quickly defended U.S. President Joe Biden after Japanese officials responded to the American leader's xenophobic remarks. In a bid to paint America as a strong country that caters to immigrants, Biden took a swipe at its allies by calling Japan and India economically struggling for being xenophobic countries that do not welcome immigrants, while categorizing them alongside Russia and China. The American leader made the remarks during an off-camera fundraising event marking Asian American, Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month earlier this week. Several Japanese lawmakers expressed their displeasure at the 81-year-old's remark. A member of the conservative Nippon Ishin Nokai Party pointed out that there aren't any countries that have solved the issue of migration problem until now, and proposed that Biden must solve the problem in New York first before saying things like this. Meanwhile, a member of the House of Councilors and the leader of the populist Sanseito Party, Sohei Kamiya, also slammed the U.S. president for his characterization of Japan. He told Biden that Japanese people are not xenophobic, but are just cautious after seeing the failures of the United States. He also called out the American leader for meddling too much in Japan's internal affairs. The American leader's remark also earned criticism from Republican Senator Marco Rubio, who expressed his views through the X platform, where he slammed Biden for calling an important ally like Japan a xenophobic country, while commenting on the reason why his staff doesn't want him delivering speech in public without note cards to guide his choice of words. Rubio is being talked about as a potential running mate for Donald Trump, who will attempt to reclaim his title from Biden in the upcoming presidential elections in November. As Biden's remark offended Japanese allies, several White House officials quickly came to his aid, with National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby stating that Biden was only making a broader point that the U.S. is a nation of immigrants. White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre also downplayed Biden's controversial statement by emphasizing how the president respects his allies. Biden's criticisms of Japan came just weeks after Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida met him at the White House, where the American leader described their alliance as unbreakable. Reporting, this has been Sarah Santos, SMNI News.
Rebuilding homes in the besieged Gaza Strip is a massive effort that could take decades to finish and cost billions of dollars, according to the latest United Nations report. Melchizedek Caddis for the news.
It has been nearly 7 months since the fierce fighting between Israel and Hamas made global headlines and shaped geopolitics in the Middle East. However, construction works to repair the extensive damage in the Gaza Strip is a laborious attempt that may take up to 80 years and an estimated cost of $40 billion, according to a recent assessment by the United Nations Development Program. In the best-case scenario, the destroyed homes and buildings could be repaired by 2040 or 16 years earlier, as long as construction materials are delivered 5 times faster than the last Israel-Palestine conflict in 2021, which lasted for only 2 weeks. However, the ongoing conflict and renewed fears of a looming invasion in Palestinian city of Rafah by the Israeli army made UN officials believe it could take decades more to undo the trail of destruction once the war has ended. The reconstruction of the Gaza Strip is an undertaking that cannot be shouldered by only one nation, but requires the collaboration of many countries. UN officials said the post-war reconstruction of the besieged territory would require an international effort not seen since the aftermath of the Second World War. The death toll in Gaza has exceeded 34,000 in the past 7 months. Reporting from Kuwait, I am Melchizedek Caddis, your global citizen correspondent for God and for our beloved country, the Philippines.
Heavy rains and thunderstorms disrupted daily activities in the United Arab Emirates as severe weather conditions returned to the country. The bad weather revisited the Emirates just 2 weeks after 4 people died from record-breaking floods. Gratero Omori has the news.
The severe weather conditions caused multiple international flights to get cancelled or diverted, while people and students were advised to work and study from home. The rainfall in the UAE this week may not be as heavy as the weather conditions 2 weeks ago, but it was enough to disrupt day-to-day activities. Meanwhile, Emirati authorities strongly warned residents about spreading fake news and rumors concerning the recent weather conditions. According to the UAE Public Prosecution, the penalty for violators ranges between 100,000 dirhams to 200,000 dirhams worth of fine and imprisonment of 1 to 2 years. The record-breaking rain and floods that hit the Arabian Peninsula 2 weeks ago brought much of the UAE to a standstill, with floods have trapped residents, damaged homes and buildings, as well as disrupted air traffic in Dubai. 3 Filipinos and 1 Emirati died from the deluge. Reporting from Dubai, I'm Gratero Omori, your global citizen correspondent for SMNI News Channel.
China on Friday launched one of its most ambitious space missions, that is to retrieve the first ever samples from the moon's far side, aiming to bring them back to Earth within 2 months. If successful, this would mark the first time any country has achieved such a feat. A 57-meter tall Long March 5 rocket lifted off from the Wenchang Satellite Launch Center at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Time on May 3, carrying the approximately 8,200-kilogram Chang'e 6 into orbit. Beijing aims to land Chinese astronauts on the moon by 2030 and establish a base at the moon's south pole as part of its broader rivalry with the United States in space, which also includes plans for computer chips and solar panels. Chang'e 6, part of China's lunar exploration program, will not only focus on scientific objectives on the moon but also serve as a testing ground for technologies and maneuvers crucial for future missions. China aims to conduct a Mars sample return mission around 2030, which would be a significant milestone in its space exploration efforts. And before we end, may be inspired with the words of the sun. The avenues of excellence are unlimited. And that's all for this edition. For more news updates, you may visit smninewschannel.com or follow us on our official social media accounts on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I am Franco Baranda, and this is Newsline World.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
Subscribe to SMNI News Channel and turn on the notification bell to keep you up to date. Also visit our official social media accounts and join our community on Viber and Telegram.